So I'm delighted to be joined by Ferdinand Omanyala, who has just qualified to represent Kenya at the Olympic Games in the 100 meters. So Ferdy, for a nation that is famed for its long distance runners, how does it feel to be the fastest man in Kenya?
It feels so awesome to be the fastest man in the country. But it all comes down to the hard work that I've put in and the work that has been done behind the scenes. That's been the hard work. I mean, the sacrifices that I've had to make to reach this far. But it's an honor to be the fastest man, and not only the fastest man, but also to represent the country at the Olympic Games, the biggest game on the land.
I bet.
Yeah.
And only a month to go, as you were saying before.
Yeah. Just a month.
What's your training plan like in the run up to, such an important event? How many days a week do you train? How many hours a week do you train? How many hours a day do you train?
Okay, basically you're not changing anything. We're just keeping up with the training that we've been doing before. So at this moment, you can't do much. You can't gain much actually, because it's already there. So it's just about you maintaining it. So it will take more of the recovery sessions. So previously I've been recovering only on Sundays, but now I'll be doing it now twice or thrice a week, because you just need to keep your body in check and then do a little bit of the gym and the track sessions.
Yeah. When I've previously spoken to you, you've been training 6 days a week, and how many hours a week? How many hours a day were you training at that stage?
6 to 8 hours a day.
Wow.
Because you have to do some days. There are some days that you do 2 sessions. So you get to the gym, you do 3 hours at the gym, and then you go to track 3 hours, or maybe to the gym 2 hours, and then go to track 2 hours, and then there's some 1 hour for mobility and stretching and just chilling off. Yeah.
Gosh, a lot of effort has gone into
Yeah,
this.
It's a lot of work.
And how have you combined this with your study? So if you talk me through your career previously, you're a rugby player, you're a university student, and now you're an Olympic athlete. How has all this fallen into place?
So I started off with academics, because that's what brought me to Nairobi. Nairobi is the capital city of Kenya, where there are great opportunities, great facilities. You can't compare the facilities in Nairobi with the facilities uptown. So studies are the first thing that brought me to Nairobi. And then later on, I joined rugby, but then I decided to switch to athletics. So when I go to athletics now, traveling, and it started being real. I decided now to hold a little bit my studies, so that I can focus on athletics. And I'm glad that the sacrifice I made has paid off.
Yeah, that's it. I'm sure it has. So I know I've read one of your quotes. You're pretty prolific on your Instagram and Twitter, and you describe running as a piece of art, and you love it when the crowd appreciates that art. So can you just explain a bit more how you see it as art?
I see it as art because it's like an artist. An artist draws, and it just doesn't do that in one day, because you have to gather the materials, you have to gather the things that you're going to use to draw a picture, and then you have to find what type of picture you're drawing. You can't just be drawing anything and everything. So I compare art with my work, because I have to get through a lot of things to come up with just running 100 meters. So you have to go to the gym, you have to go to the track, you have to do a lot of recovery sessions, you have to go to the physio sessions. All these things come up to running 100 meters, just a 10 seconds run. So that's how I compare it to the art that I'm doing. It's like when you reach at the finish line, it's like people appreciating your masterpiece, what you've put together all these years. It's the same thing as art, like if I come and draw an image of you, people will appreciate it after it's over. Nobody will come and say, I appreciate what you're drawing. Nobody will appreciate something that is not seen. So that's how I compare it to art.
The finished piece when you cross the line. Yes. So talking about that in competition, are you aware of the crowd around you, of your competitors, or is it full tunnel vision when you're on the start line?
For me, I don't always look at on my left or look at on my right, because that derails focus. It's you and that start line and the finish line. I don't always look. I don't remember any race. I don't even remember in any race that I've had the crowd screaming. I always hear the crowd screaming after I cross that finish line, because I think all my focus and attention is running fast. If you start now diverting your attention to the crowd or your competitors, that's how you're losing the race. So I always try and focus so much on me and my lane, because I'm going to compete against the biggest names. I've actually competed before with the biggest names. I was in South Africa and I competed against Anaso Jobodwana. I competed against Clarence Munyai. These are Olympians.
Yeah.
But what I told myself is that I'm not looking at these guys because I don't know where they're coming from. We're on the same line. What matters is that we're the same run. So I have to get to the finish line ahead of these guys. So that's how I'm going to the Olympics with the same mentality. I don't care who I'm running against. It's just me and the finish line.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's the perfect mentality to take.
Yeah.
So I know you've talked about ultimately there's a hell of a lot of work that goes into becoming an Olympic athlete, and so how important is your support network in doing this? Ultimately, being an athlete can probably be quite a lonely place sometimes. Ultimately, it's just you on the start line, on the finish line. So what goes into getting you there?
So people look at me because I'm the let me say guinea pig of this athletics 100 meters. But behind me, there's a lot of people. There are a lot of people who are doing the work, behind the scenes. There's lawyers like you. And then there comes the coach. There's a physio. There's a nutritionist. There's a psychologist. All these people are playing a part in that success. I can't say that I'm alone. And then there are like my parents, my girlfriend, all these guys, all these people come up to form one thing, and that's me. The only thing is like I'm just coming to showcase the art that has been put into place by these people. You can't do this alone. You can't go onto the start and win a race alone.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to have that support in place, and as you say,
yes,
there's a lot of preparation that comes to that final 10 seconds, less than 10 seconds on the day.
10.0, yeah. Or less than 10 seconds.
What does your son make of all of this? Is he aware of what's going on?
Yeah, he is, because sometimes he looks at me at the TV and says, that's daddy. So he understands. Like when we were running the Olympic trials last week, he was so happy after he won, because he was just telling everybody, let me run like my daddy, and then he just sprints off. So that shows he understands what his dad is doing, and he appreciates.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
What an inspiration for him as well.
Yeah, I hope he becomes a sprinter too. I'll be so happy.
Oh, fantastic. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you this afternoon, and wish you the absolute best of luck in
so much.
all your preparation, and obviously, in Tokyo as well. You're going to be fantastic, and we'll be cheering you on. So
thank you. Thank you so much. I believe it will be a very good championship, not for Kenyans, not for Africans, but to everybody who has been behind me and everybody who has been supporting me all these years.